In the quiet of night, in a time when the world seemed simpler, there was a boy named Roland Doe. Now, his story isn't one of fairy tales or bedtime stories, but of a darkness that crept into his life, twisting it into something far beyond comprehension. Imagine living in a house where the walls whispered, where your own bed seemed to betray you, and where the very air was thick with an unseen malice. This isn't just a tale to keep you up at night. It's a slice of history, a real-life horror that inspired one of the most iconic movies ever made. We're diving deep into the Exorcism of Roland Doe, a boy who became a battleground for forces we can barely understand. So if you're ready to peel back the layers of this chilling narrative to see where the mundane meets the macabre, stick with me, because what we're about to uncover is not for the faint-hearted. Let's get into it.
Daddy's time now.
The town of Cottage City, Maryland, back in the late 1940s was as quaint as a Norman Rockwell painting. But beneath that postcard-perfect veneer, there lurked a darkness so profound it would chill even the bravest soul. Here lived a boy, known to history only as Roland Doe, a name whispered like the incantations of old when the twilight turns the world to shadow. Roland was just a boy, 13 years of age, caught in the web of a family tragedy. His aunt, a spiritualist, had passed away, but her influence lingered, particularly through the Ouija board she had introduced to him. It was after her death that the nightmare began, with sounds like whispers from the grave, scratching noises, the drip of unseen water, and the unnerving movement of furniture when only young Roland was near. Imagine the terror of those parents living in a house where the very walls seemed to breathe with something malevolent. They turned to their Lutheran minister, Luther Miles Schultz, who himself was intrigued by the paranormal. But when Schultz witnessed the inexplicable phenomena, he knew this was beyond his ken, beyond the power of his faith alone. They sought help from the Catholic Church, a move born of desperation, not of faith. Father E. Albert Hughes, a Jesuit, was the first to step into the maelstrom of the supernatural at Georgetown University Hospital. Here, under the watchful eyes of the learned, Roland was bound not by sin, but by something far more sinister. Yet the exorcism was cut short when Roland, in a display of strength no boy should possess, broke off a mattress spring and slashed Father Hughes, leaving the exorcism unfinished and the priest wounded. The marks on Roland's body came next, red scratches that seemed to spell out a message. Lewis. This was no random act of a troubled mind, but seemed a directive, a dark signpost pointing to St. Louis, Missouri. There in the home of relatives, the battle for Roland's soul continued with Father Raymond J. Bishop and Reverend William Bodern stepping into the fray. Now, Bodern, armed with his faith, laid a crucifix under Roland's pillow only to find the room turned upside down upon his return. Furniture overturned, the crucifix cast aside as if the very air in the room rebelled against the holy symbol. This was no simple case of a child's tantrum. This was a war between the divine and the damned. For weeks, the exorcism dragged on with Roland's body as the battleground. He spoke in languages he had never learned, his voice not his own, deep and guttural. The priests noted in their diaries the boy's unnatural strength, the violent outbursts, and the profanities that spewed from him like venom. These were not the actions of a boy, but of something ancient, something that had crossed the threshold from hell itself. In St. Louis, at the Alexian Brothers Hospital, the final act of this unholy drama played out. Roland was said to have convulsed, his body a vessel for the demonic, until finally, after laying upon him holy relics and calling upon St. Michael, the priests claimed victory. 7 minutes of tense prayer amidst the chaos, and then silence. Roland, or what was left of him, whispered, "He's gone." But was he? The boy who returned from that ordeal was said to have lived a normal life thereafter, becoming a NASA engineer, contributing to the Apollo missions, living under the shadow of what he could never remember. Ronald Hunkler was his real name, revealed long after the echoes of those exorcisms had faded. He died in 2020, taking with him the secrets of those dark days, leaving behind only the stories, the diaries, and the chilling legacy of the Exorcist. These events, these rites, were documented not for the sake of glorifying the devil, but to understand, perhaps, the depth of human suffering and the resilience of human spirit against forces we barely comprehend. Now, Roland Doe's story is not just a tale of possession, but a testament to the horror that can coexist with the mundane, where the line between the holy and the profane blurs into nightmare. Now this is the true horror, not in the spectacle of the possessed, but in the quiet aftermath, in the lives forever altered by what they witnessed or endured, that in a world so ordinary, such extraordinary evil can find a home. And in that thought, there is no greater terror. What do you think separates a true case of possession from something that can be explained by science or psychology? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, stay spooky.